All right, welcome to today's class. In today's class, we'll be dealing on Venn diagram. What is Venn diagram? A Venn diagram is a diagrammatic representation of set using overlapping circles to show relationship between two or more sets. It was established by a British logician called John Venn. So Venn diagram was established by a British logician called John Venn. All right, so this is what Venn diagram looks like. U is the universal set. Let's call the first circle A, and then the second circle, let's call it B. This space is called 1, and then we have 2, and we have 3. So we've numbered the spaces. So what are these spaces called? For 1 is called set A. One is called set A, or the number of elements in set A. And then 2 is called the intersect of set A and B. Intersect of A and B. So it is written as this. We have A and then B. So this is the intersect of A and B. And then for 3 is called set B. 3 is set B. It is written as this, N open bracket B. So we can see that this space here, which is 1, is set A. The space in between B and A, which is the intersect of B and A, is 2. And then 3 is set B. So let's call this 4. So what is 4? What is 4? 4 is complement of set A union B. Complement of A union B. Complement of A union B, and it is written as this: A union B all raised to power 1. So the fourth space is called the complement of A union B. All right, let's consider the types of Venn diagram. The first one here is two-set Venn diagram. Two-set Venn diagram has to do with only 2 circles. And then we have three-set Venn diagram. Three-set Venn diagram has to do with 3 circles. And then 4-set Venn diagram. 4-set Venn diagram has to do with 4 circles. So let's take an example on 2-set Venn diagram. Example 1. A survey of 64 informed voters revealed the following information. 45 believe that David is still alive. 49 believe that David has been killed. 42 believed both of these things. Number 1. How many believed David is still alive but don't believe that he has been killed? 2. How many believe David has been killed but don't believe he is still alive? 3. How many believe 3. How many believe neither of these? And then 4. Draw the Venn diagram. So this is a question on two-set Venn diagram. Solution. Our first task is to list the given parameters. Our first task is to list the given parameters. That's our first task. So let's look at the question again. A survey of 64 informed voters revealed the following information. It says 45 believed that David is still alive. It says a survey of 64 informed voters. So total number of voters, total number of voters let's call this TNV. So total number of voters is equal to 64. And also, it says 45 believe that David is still alive. So let's say David is still alive. Let's call this DSA. David is still alive. So DSA is equal to 45. From the question, it says 45 believe that David is still alive. All right, the next one, David has been killed. How many believe that David has been killed? Let's check the question. It says 49 believe that David has been killed. So we have David has been killed. Let's call this DBK. DBK is equal to 49. 49 voters believe that David has been killed. And then the next one, it says 42 believed both of these things. Let's check the question. It says 42 believed both of these things. So let's say both of these things. That's to say 42 persons believe that David is still alive and also believe that David has been killed. So let's call it both DSA and DBK. So both DSA and DBK, it is equal to 42 voters. All right, our next task is to draw the first Venn diagram. We are going to draw two Venn diagrams in this question. The first one will assist us solve this question properly, and then the final Venn diagram. All right, let's draw the first Venn diagram. So the first circle, let's call the first circle DSA. DSA. We call the first circle DSA, and then the second circle, let's call it DBK. For DSA, David is still alive, the number of voters that believe David is still alive, DSA, is equal to 45. And then the number of voters that believe David has been killed, DBK, is equal to 49. So let's say DSA is equal to 45. And then DBK is equal to 49. And then the number of voters that believe David has been killed and David is still alive, which is DSA intersects DBK. It is equal to 42. So DSA intersects DBK is equal to 42. Remember, I told you that the overlap between these two circles is known as the intersect between them. The overlap between these two circles is known as the intersect between them. So the intersect between DSA and DBK is 42. So from the question, we are told that the total number of people who believe that David is still alive, which is DSA, is 45. That's to say that the entire first circle, let me shade it. This is the first circle. This is the entire first circle. The entire first circle, which is DSA, as given in the question, is 45. So this is the entire first circle. And we are told that the number of persons or voters who believe David is still alive is 45. So we know that 42 is the intersect between DSA and DBK. So we don't know these empty spaces. So let's call this empty space A. We don't know A. And we don't know this other empty space. Let's call here B. But we know that the intersect between DSA and DBK is 42. So how do we get the value of A and the value of B? Let's call here Z. Let's call here Z. Now, how do we get the value of A and B? Let's pick the first circle. Let's pick the first circle. All right, this is the first circle. We have A here and we have 42. Remember, 42 is the intersect between DSA and DBK. So we are looking for the value of A. Remember, we are told that DSA is equal to 45. And DSA is the entire circle. So if DSA is the entire circle and we have 42 here, what then is the value of A? Remember that DSA is the entire circle. So DSA is equal to A plus 42. DSA is A plus 42. And we are looking for A. So let's make A the subject formula. A is equal to DSA minus 42. And the value of DSA is 45. So therefore, A is equal to 45 minus 42. So the value of A is 3. So this is the value of A. All right, let's pick the second circle. In the second circle, we have here as B. And we also have 42. Remember, 42 is the intersect between DBK and DSA. The second circle is DBK, and DBK is equal to 49. DBK is equal to 49. Now, we are looking for the value of B. DBK is the entire circle, and DBK is equal to B plus 42. DBK is the entire circle, so B plus 42 is DBK. So now let's make B the subject formula. Therefore, B is equal to DBK minus 42. So if we substitute the value of DBK, B becomes 49 minus 42. So therefore, B is equal to 7. So this is the value of B. Now let's check the question again. Number 1, how many believe David is still alive but don't believe that he has been killed? How many believe David is still alive but don't believe he has been killed? All right, so this is the Venn diagram, the first Venn diagram we drew. The number of persons who believe that David is still alive but do not believe David has been killed is A. And those who believe David has been killed but do not believe that David is still alive is B. And the intersect between DSA and DBK is 42. 42 is the number of voters who believe David is still alive and David has been killed. Let me repeat. Those who believe David is still alive but do not believe that David has been killed is A. Those who believe David is still alive and David has been killed is 42. And those who believe David has been killed but they don't believe that David is still alive is B. So the value of A is what? What is the value of A from our calculation? The value of A is 3. And then the value of B is 7 from our calculation. So let's answer the last question. Let's answer the third question. The third question is this: how many believe neither of these things? That's to say, how many voters do not believe any of these things? Now, from the Venn diagram, you can see that 3 persons believe that David is still alive alone. 42 persons have 2 thoughts. They believe that David is still alive and David has been killed. And then 7 persons only believe that David has been killed. So the number of persons who do not believe that David is still alive nor believe that David has been killed is Z. So what is the value of Z? How can we get the value of Z? Now remember that in our last class, we talked about universal set. If you didn't watch our last tutorial, kindly check the description of this video and you will see a link to our tutorial on set operations. So universal set. Universal set is written as U. The universal set U, as given in the question, is equal to 64. Now let's check the question again. It says a survey of 64 informed voters. So we have 64 informed voters. 64 is the universal set. Remember the definition of universal set. Universal set has to do with the entire number of elements that are being considered, or the entire number of voters that are being considered. So we are considering 64 informed voters. So the universal set is 64, and the universal set is the same thing as TNV, which is total number of voters, as I earlier said. So it is equal to 64. Alright, to get the value of Z, we will simply equate the total number of elements in the Venn diagram to the universal set. So we are given TNV, which is the universal set, is equal to, if we equate all the elements in the Venn diagram, we would have A plus 42 plus B plus Z. So these are all the elements in the Venn diagram. A is 3, B is 7, we have 42, and we have Z. So now let's substitute. The value of TNV, total number of voters, which is the universal set, is 64. So we have 64 is equal to, the value of A is 3, and then plus 42. And then plus, the value of B is 7 plus Z. So we have here 64 is equal to 3 plus 42 is 45, and 45 plus 7 is 52. So we have 52 plus Z. So now let's make Z the subject formula. Therefore, Z is equal to 64 minus 52. So the value of Z is equal to 12. So this is the value of Z. All right, let's answer the last question. The last question, which is question 4, it says, draw the Venn diagram. All right, this is the Venn diagram. The value of Z is 12. So we'll write 12. So this is the final Venn diagram. All right, if you enjoyed this class, kindly subscribe to this channel, and also ensure you like this video. If you have a question, you can also leave your question in the comment section of this video. See you in our next class.